Hi, Kim. What? Look who's on time. Haas, I'm pulling one of your numbers. Yeah, we're moving around the lot. Ooh, hey, Kim. How am I looking here? Everything good? Hey, everybody. Hey, Margaret. Antoine. I try to always be jamming, Kim. That's my record. Come on, we might as well have fun. How's everybody doing today? Can you guys make sure you go and tell somebody that we're on here live and that we're getting started? We're ready to have this conversation. Good, good. Y'all be safe. Stay out the streets. What's up? Come on in here. Did I just say that? I know I'm not supposed to say that. Sorry, we have our fan. What's up? I hope they don't play oh, there we go. Giving just folks a few minutes. Get you something cold to drink. Get you a snack so you don't have to miss anything while we're waiting for folks to come in. Give them another couple of minutes. Hi. Yeah, I know I started melting like chocolate. Sitting in the sun as soon as I start talking to y'all. Y'all know what we listening to. Jordan. Hey. Just giving folks a few minutes. Hey, sister. Woo, I'm hot. It's just who I am. Woo. Hey, I see you guys coming on in. Listen, don't start these private conversations. Last time you threw one of my guests off with all that. So get it in, get it out. Okay? I need everybody's full attention here. What's up, everybody? Okay. It's another minute. Woo, it gets hot. I can't wait to not be hot. Welcome back, everybody. Good to see you guys, even if it's just virtually and not actually. It's good to see your names. That lets me know that you guys are here with me. And we are ready to get started. Hey, Lady Harvin. Hi. I see you, Lady Regina. I see you, Adrian Banks. Hey there. Look at everybody so happy to be together. Make sure you're telling somebody that we're getting started. White chocolate, really. More like caramel. We're gonna have a good discussion today, like we always do. No, we haven't. So you can do some greeting. Everyone maintain social distancing. It's really a misnomer. It's physical distancing. So y'all know I like to give y'all something. So y'all just sitting here looking at me, just sitting here in silence. But a little something. Oh, I'm hot. I mean, I know I'm sizzling, right? Hi guys, welcome back to another installment of the RocksRulez Relationship Roundtable. Come on, y'all, put your hands up, put your hands together. Boop, 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 boop. Hype it up, hype it up. I am so excited that you guys are back with us. Make sure you're sharing and letting someone know. Thank you. We are on Lot C, Studio C of the lot today. We're giving you guys a little variety because you guys have paid for it. Well, not yet, but you soon will. Thank you so much. But we are excited. We are going to have another robust discussion, another spirited talk. It's real talk around real topics with real people. How's that? That's what goes on in here. And we're parked here at this relationship roundtable for another week because you guys said this is what you want to talk about. You guys said this is what you want to discuss. So we want to make sure that we give you what you're asking for, because I don't want to just talk about something just because. I want to make sure that everyone here is fully engaged. I hope everyone's having a lovely day. Please, if you can hear me, can you guys hear me? Let me know that you can hear me well. And remember to send a request if you want to join the discussion on camera. We've had a couple of people who have done that by mistake. We want to make sure that we only engage those who want to be on camera. So if you're camera ready, thank you. Thank you. And hey there. Hey, Pastor Rodney, if you guys want to join the live discussion, if you are camera ready, then send the request, scroll up, send the request, and make sure you put your questions in the box so you can put them on the screen. But if the ticker moves too fast, I may not see them there. So I'm excited. I cannot wait to dig into this discussion. So we're so excited for last week. We had everyone come on and we had a great, healthy discussion. We talked about the deadly D's. We talked about, some of the issues around relationships. And again, there's been some common themes throughout these weeks that we've been talking about the relationships. And that has been about really knowing who we are and knowing our vision for our lives and what we see, what we desire to have, and sticking to that. That was one of the key things that we got out of last week is not really being deterred. And I shared a clip on the Instagram page this week that we had a gentleman who was kind of making a funny post about that. And some of you may have seen it, but, having his plan, his budget and the line item for the month, what he allotted for dating, and the woman didn't match up with that. So he did not deter from that, and he did not fall apart and get away from his vision and what he saw for his life just to accommodate that person, because that person was not lining up. Hi, Keandra. Hey, guys. So we just want to make sure we keep building. That's what this is all about. We're building each week, and we're hoping to have all of the answers all figured out at some point in the future. Not too sure when, but we just want to give people enough tools to make sure that we're living healthy, balanced, whole lives, and certainly in the relationship space. We don't want anyone to be hurting or anyone to be half. We want everyone to be whole and be complete and be healed. That's a great goal, isn't it? So that's what we want to do. So one of the topics, I've been asking people what they want to talk about. I have polled the people. We did a little market research, and the people said they want to talk about cheating. I don't know why. I think people just want to have some salacious conversations. And so we're going to talk about cheating. We're going to talk about it. Well, we're going to talk about relationships generally, but that's one of the things that somebody wanted to talk about. So we're just going to pose that question for today. Why do people cheat? And I put up a little graphic again earlier this week. And I thought people were going to kind of sink their teeth into that, but people don't really want to talk about it. What I'm learning is you have the cheaters, who are those who perpetuate the cheating act, if you will. Then you have the cheatees. Hello. Y'all see me? I got on my cheetah print because I guess because I'm a cheatee, if you've been cheated on or whatever. But you have the cheaters and you have the cheatee. Okay. Oh, we're starting early. Hello, Mr. Ernest Pugh. This is going to get good. So if you want to join in, you can join in and give your thoughts around it. You do not have to tell on yourself. So let's just establish that. If you want to send me a request to join this live, we can get right into this and sink our teeth in real quick, because we want to talk about why do people cheat? Because again, it's not just to have a fruitless conversation. We're not trying to dredge up any painful memories, and we're not trying to expose anyone. If you get exposed, hey, that's on you. But we want to have a good, healthy dialogue because we want to help people either heal. If you're the person who is doing the cheating, maybe we can help address some of those things and have you look at those things and autocorrect. If you're the one who's being cheated on or has been cheated on, then maybe you can see some of the signs, or maybe you can autocorrect, and maybe you guys can work this thing out together. The first thing I think we should establish is, let's just get this in and out of the way. We're talking about cheating in committed relationships. That's a committed relationship or a marriage. We're not just talking about cheating, because some people, let's just establish this. Some of these people you have mislabeled as cheaters are not even in a relationship with you. Let's just be completely honest. This is real talk, right? Around real topics with real people. That's something that we have to establish first, because a lot of times we might just be dating, right? If you're in a dating relationship and you're not committed to each other, then we're dating maybe towards the path of establishing a secure, committed relationship. Right now, if we haven't established that we're not seeing other people and we're just dating, and someone is seeing other people, then maybe they're not a cheater. If they're seeing a lot of other people, maybe they're a player. That's a whole other topic. But they may not be cheating if they're seeing other people, because you haven't secured that and established together. Because sometimes you can establish it up here in your own head, but if you guys haven't come together and said, we're going to do this and we're not going to see other people, we're going to see each other exclusively, and they're seeing other people, then they're not at fault. So let's just put that in and out of the way. Let's establish that. So we know when we're talking about cheating and the concept of cheating, we're talking about people who are agreed to be in a committed relationship or marriage. And again, unless you are the actress Monique, she and her husband, I think, were in an open marriage. People do that too. That's something else. We're not talking about that. We're not entertaining that. But we're talking about a marriage where two people have committed to one another and said, hey, I only want to be with you. You only want to be with me. And we're going to rock this out forever and always. That's what we're talking about. Okay, so let's just put that out there. So why do people cheat? Let's get this out. Let's talk about it. So I did I do a little bit of research, because I don't like to just spew a bunch of my thoughts and opinions. I do like to have information to support my discussion. So I did a little bit of research, and one of the common things that I saw throughout the research, and one site, Secure Forensic, I think they had put together a list for men. Why do men cheat? Why do women cheat? And there were commonalities in the list, and there were, I think, two things that were different. And we're going to just go over that. Of course, I brought back up. I had to bring some notes because, listen, my memory is not what it used to be. And one of the common things on why do men and why do women cheat, the first thing was the lack of intimacy. So we had someone come on a couple of weeks ago and kind of ask that question, like, hey, what do you do when you're in a relationship, when you're in a marriage, and someone's, not participating in that portion of it, then maybe the person loses interest. Okay, so that's number one on the men, number one on the women, lack of intimacy. Okay, so we got that as a reason. That's a real reason. The second one is for men, their spouse isn't as attractive as they once were. So we'll touch on that a little bit more, but that has been given as a reason that the person isn't as attractive as they once were. So I got to go out and find someone else, something new, something shiny, if you will. Another reason is hypersexuality. So that's a real thing. So that's a physiological reason, if you will, which I think still is a mental reason. People who are hypersexual, so they don't feel like they're getting all that they want and need. And again, I've never been married, but I would assume you would establish that through some discussion and observing the other person as you're in a relationship. You kind of know what people like, what people are into, and whether you're matched. So that's something that we have to put out there. But that was a reason for both the men and the women. Again, for the men, they're over the relationship. They're kind of over it. They're ready to check out. They're ready to chuck deuces. They're out. They're ready to move on to, like I said, the next shiny thing. And maybe this comes down to attention span. Hello. And then sometimes for men, it's to satisfy their own ego. That's, I think, a lot of it, because people can be quite insecure. And when you're insecure, you are When you're insecure, you are looking for something external to make you feel good about yourself. So you start wandering. You start wandering and you start probing. You start, dipping in and out, looking for something to make you feel good about yourself. And then one of the other reasons for men is to get revenge, because we know women can be petty, LaBelle, but men can be a little bit petty as well. And sometimes it's to get revenge, not necessarily because you have done it as well, but sometimes because their feelings have gotten hurt or whatever the case is, or they've been upset, they feel disrespected in some way, so that they feel like they got to jab you and I got to get you. All of this goes back to what we were kind of talking about last week. And the number 7 reason for men was or is immaturity. And I said we would get back to the satisfying the ego. A lot of these things kind of touch on immaturity, because when you grow up and kind of really assess things, and if you're mature enough, and then you can really make a real honest assessment of yourself, then you'll say, you know what, I need to grow up. Because we realize we've talked about this over the weeks, when you're in a relationship, it ain't about looks. Looks will fade. Roots will show, grays will come in. I know, I'm sure that the list is higher than 7, but these are just some of the things that people have been coming up, and we can build on the list. And of course, you guys can feel free to join in and chime in if you want to add to that. For women, so the women have in common with the men the lack of intimacy, hypersexuality, they've checked out, and the immaturity and the revenge. The 2 things that are different for women, according to this research, was a lack of communication. Women want to communicate, and a lot of times they have said that their spouse did not communicate effectively or did not communicate to the level that they felt interests them. So that became an issue. So they kind of moved on. Of course, they had checked out. And then their other reason for women was they felt that they had grown apart. So we're going in different directions. Because we're not communicating, maybe our lives are going in different paths. You're going up, I'm going down, or you're going left, I'm going right. Whatever the case is, those have been some of the reasons that have been established as to why men and women cheat. Now, I'm going to throw out this statistic I saw as well. It says if someone has cheated before, there is a 350% chance they will cheat again. 350% chance. That's scary. I don't want anyone to be afraid. If you've been cheated on, if you are the cheater, this is a cheetah print. If you are the cheater and the cheatee, if you've been cheated on before, I don't want you to get afraid or feel like, oh my God, they're going to cheat on me again. I think that's, again, when things have been left unresolved. They have not been addressed. For however you've dealt, if you've been cheated on and you stayed and people have not addressed and resolved and addressed the source of the cheating and what's happened, then those things are likely to happen again. That's why I think that number is high, 350%. But I think if you're dealing with someone who has gotten some help, maybe said, listen, I know why I did it. This is why. We're going to deal with that. We're going to address it. We can grow from it. I've grown up. I've changed. I do think that people can change. I'm sorry. I just believe people can change. I always see the good in people, and that's just the person that I am. So we put some statistics out there. We put some information out there, and I want to hear what you think about that. Do you guys agree that Those are the reasons for cheating. Do you think that people who have cheated before are going to cheat again at a rate of 350%? That's really high. Let's talk about it. Let's dig into this. Let's cook this up and serve it while it's hot, because we need to understand that. We want to make sure that we get to the bottom of why this is happening from a male perspective, from a woman's perspective. I do think, like I said, the ego piece for men is huge. I think that we're dealing sometimes with a lot of insecure men, and I want to set it ablaze. I really want to say that because that's how I feel. And if you guys disagree, let's talk about it. But a lot of times it is, and women can be the same way. It's a lot of insecurity. And when you don't know who you are, and that's what we've been talking about these last few weeks, when you're not secure in who you are and what you see for your life, and you're not whole in your own place, then a lot of times you're left. Sometimes you have to go out and find something that makes you feel like you still got it. And that you can still, if you're a guy, I can still go out and pull all the ladies. I can go and attract people. And so it's like a game. And then I do have I have some percentages. Let's put some stats out there and talk about this really quickly. I thought this was interesting as well. And it's basically a graphic that says 10% of cheating starts online. Right where we are. 10% starts online. A lot of, and we can talk about it. It's not just to say that it's all physical. Sometimes it's just emotional. Okay, you heard a man say, if a woman is giving it, a man will take it. Right. Selfishness is a reason. I believe that wholeheartedly. So 10% start online. 40% go from online to real life. Woo. 9% is for revenge, for cheating behavior. 36% of affairs happen with coworkers. I'm glad we're in a quarantine, so y'all can't be out here thotting and bopping in these streets. 22% of males cheat. Okay. And 14% of women said that they have cheated. So 22% to 14%. That's what we're looking at. That's what we're dealing with. Selfishness. If a woman is giving it, then a man will take it. That's right. So we do have to be careful and be thoughtful of how we carry ourselves, how we conduct ourselves. I'm going to tell y'all a story. Once there was someone who I had known in a friendly way, and they started trying to, I guess, kick it or whatever, call themselves being interested in me. So we were talking a little, just ever so slightly, like 5 minutes. And one day we were having a conversation, and they said, so I asked what was their status. Like, again, this was super brand new. And so I was just like curious, like, what's your deal? What's your status? What's up? Are you single? Are you looking for a relationship? Like, what are you after here? I didn't pose it quite like that. And they said to me that they were currently married, but they were they like to have something on the side. So he put it out there. He said, I'm married, but I like to have something on the side. And I think what's Fabulous's line about having something on the side? So he told me that. So part of me, 50% of me was repulsed by that statement. I was like, how dare you? First of all, I'm not that person, because I respect the sanctity of marriage and all of that. I'm not interested in number two. I'm not a side dish. Hello. I'm the entree, the main course. In fact, I'm all 7 courses. Hello. Get into that. And then, like I said, that was 50% of me. I was disgusted that he even posed that to me. But then the other side of me said, okay, well, at least he was upfront about what it was. Right. And that was the end of it. Just so we're clear. And he was upfront, but he was upfront because he had tried this, I'm sure, before. And I know somebody took him up on it. So that's why I believe he tried it. And somebody said, okay, cool, no problem. I'm good, because I just want to get with you when I can get with you. I'm not tripping. Go home to your wife, because, I got my own life over here and all that. So then, had I been that kind of woman, then I might have said, all right, no problem. Let's do what we do. That doesn't have anything to do with me. You'd be surprised how many people take that approach. And a lot of times women, we talked about one of the deadly D's last week being desperation. And a lot of times when women are feeling like, and not desperation like, oh, we're not attractive, but just time not being necessarily on our sides, people just being lonely, not a lot of stuff happening. You're just like, I just want to do something, have something to do, and so a lot of women will take the bait and say, okay, cool, that's fine. Then he tried to go in, yeah, you know what I mean? When he saw that I wasn't there for it, he tried to clean it up and say, well, I mean, he basically told me he had checked out. The marriage has been over in my mind. We're not really together. That's nothing for you to worry about. I said, oh, this conversation is done. Done. Okay, we're done. Bye. But a lot of people don't take that approach. And had I acted out of desperation, and I would have said, okay, cool, whatever. We could do this. I don't know her. This don't have nothing to do with me. These are a lot of the common things that you will hear. That's right. A lot of women do not care. A lot of men don't care. I've heard a lot of men say after they got married and started wearing their wedding band, it's like the attention ramped up. A lot of women started hitting on them because they were wearing a wedding band. Because a lot of women, honestly, are just looking for something to do, looking for somebody to pay them some attention, however long, however much, even if it's shared attention. Then they're just like, okay, cool. And if someone's married, I've heard people say if he's married, that means he's already, first of all, he's hopefully, he's kind of stable and these kind of things like that. And so women will go after that because they feel like, oh, he's just with his wife, then he can have me over here. He ain't running around. Because out here in these streets, a lot of people are out running around. Like I said, we have players, and we're not talking about that, but a lot of people want that. But that is true. A lot of people want what they cannot have. That's really appealing to a lot of people. So I want to hear what you guys have to say. I want to hear your thoughts. Come on, jump on here. I had some people who said that they were going to send me a request who were going to come on. Come on, let's kick this off. I can talk, but I'm not going to sit up here and tell all my business for your entertainment, but I am hoping to help someone. There's lots of ways of looking at this, like, come on in here. Come on, hop on. Tell me your thoughts, what you think. I know some people say we feel like those lists should be longer than 7. Give me some thoughts. We've seen selfishness. Like I said, I believe insecurity is a huge reason. And I would hazard to say, and I've told this to people before, a lot of times that cheating doesn't have anything to do with you. So don't you start getting all messed up in your head thinking about, is it this? Am I too this? Am I too that? Am I too much? Am I not enough? Do I not dress well? Do I not smell good? Do I not have the right job? Do I not, all those things. Did I not pray enough? People will try to put you in a mind game and start having you think it has something to do with you. And sometimes it don't have anything to do with you. It's their own insecurity, their own immaturity, people's own issues that cause them to stray and go thotting and bopping. Let's just keep it all the way 100. That's what we're doing. We keeping it all the way 100. Well, come on in here. Let's go. I'm ready. Send me that request. Come on. I'm waiting on y'all. Nobody wants to talk. See, this is what I was saying. Nobody wants to talk real talk. It happens. Everybody out here is experiencing or has experienced this in some form. Come on out here and say it. Don't be scared, as they used to say. Come on. We're keeping it 100. We're keeping it, as they say, as the guys say, we're keeping it a buck. Is that what you say? We're keeping it real. We're going to have this discussion because we need, oh, Lord, you're going to complicate my life. Okay. Come on in here. We got incoming. Hey, Dante. Hey, Barb. Uh-oh, you're back.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi, good morning.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So you have some thoughts around this? Are you gonna share? I don't know, what you're.
Well, I missed the top
Oh boy.
of
Okay,
it.
we're
I
talking
kind
about why do people cheat?
of,
Yeah. Uh-huh. Let's go.
oh,
Let's go. Let's get it. We're talking
okay.
about, and we've given reasons according to some research that has been conducted. Why do people cheat? And like I said, immaturity, insecurity, revenge. For men, they're saying lack of intimacy. The partner changed in some way, wasn't as attracted to them. So I've given those reasons. So let's get into it. What are your thoughts? Do you think there are more things?
Well, last time I was on here, I told everybody that um, I was married. But at the end of it, I decided to move on from the marriage before I moved on with the paperwork.
Oh boy.
So you know, I was treating it like we were still like boyfriend girlfriend. We were still dating each other. I just moved on. Um, but it was definitely the reality set in of the marriage was over, and
Mm-hmm.
I was ready to move on.
So that
And
was listed as one of the reasons as well, is that the men had checked out or were ready to check out.
yeah, no, I had checked out. You know, not to spare everybody today, but I was just over the marriage. I shouldn't have got married in the first place under the pretenses that I did get married.
Right.
But nevertheless, you know, when I decided to move on, I just moved on,
Right.
and I was just over it. You know, it was immaturity on my part because as a man, I should have put the marriage away before I moved on. I
Right.
just moved on. I was just
Right.
like whatever. And so a lot of times it's when people cheat, it's really a form of entertainment. You
Oh.
know what I mean? The person I stepped out with, it was somebody who I was chasing before I got married,
Mm.
and she has the same birthday as my ex-wife.
Oh
So
Lord.
so I slid into her Facebook inbox, wishing her a happy birthday, and it just went on from there.
Wow.
Um, but because I was still married, you know, I had left my iPad open, and my ex, well, at the time wife, she just went all through it. And before I
Ooh.
made it back home, because I was over the other chick house, before I made it back home, um, she had sent the email to that female. I don't even know how she got her email address. I don't even know if
Ooh.
I had it. But she sent the email to
Juicy.
her and three other chicks. I wasn't
Oh.
even rocking with the other chicks.
Okay.
I was too friendly with them. And you know, she said so. She when she sent the email, she painted herself to be such a saint.
Hmm.
But you know, I had to eat it because, like,
Mm-hmm.
as a man, I should have taken care of my business, and I didn't do that.
Right. Right. But you
You know what
shouldn't
I
have
mean?
left your iPad open, and you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I see you. I see you, Gov. You in my prayers. The way I made that blunder is because I was in my music area, in my house, in my old house, and I was using my iPad, and I was running late for rehearsal, and I just ran out, and y'all know the rest.
Yeah. Okay. So now that we know what happened and how that was sort of uncovered, what did you, other than learning that you should have resolved that, was there anything else about yourself that you resolved after that experience? Or maybe you addressed and say, you know what, I won't do that again. Or do you consider yourself a cheater, or was that just the act of cheating in that one moment?
Well, I mean, being I was, you know, when I was married, I was the one and only time that I did step out, so I wouldn't label myself as a cheater. However, I did have to come to grips with my toxicity that I had
Mm,
within myself. That I didn't resolve within myself. I didn't. It was after that I had realized that it was some other areas that I needed to address in my life in terms of how I was conducting myself. Because you know, growing up in church, like we know how to put on the facade that we doing everything correct.
right.
But I just had to just start living my own reality,
Hmm.
which was important because in order for me to move on and to really be healed, I had to admit that I needed to be healed from some things.
Right.
So, you know, from then, you know, I mean, yeah, I dated, but I more or less um, just wanted to get to know the new me and just my thought process and how my outlook on life. Like I wanted to change all of that and to change the perception of myself.
Hmm.
I needed to address those things. so that I wouldn't make these mistakes going forward.
Wow. That's good because like I see a lot of people in the comments saying that that was good, that you learned something, and a lot of people won't admit to that. So that's huge. And I think that's halfway towards auto correcting because most people don't want to admit it. And if you don't deal with yourself, then you just feel like, oh, it's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing to fix. And you will put the blame on the parts of the marriage and the things that we discussed the last time and her involvement in that part. And you would put all the blame on, she pushed me or she, but you know,
Yeah,
that was something you
like,
did.
you know, I was, you know, I was raised to take accountability for my actions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not trying to gloss over the fact of what I did. It's just that I'm not going to blame anybody for what I
That's
did.
good.
You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
good.
you know, I did it with clearness of mind. I definitely, I don't drink, I don't smoke, so I can't say I was inebriated.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I drove myself over there after rehearsal
Lord.
and, you know, and was doing my other ministry.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Jesus.
You know what I mean? But, you know,
I mean, but that's honest. Thank you.
I'm
I
just being
appreciate
honest.
you. I appreciate you for being honest because that's what this is about. This is real people getting together, talking, having real talk around real topics. And people don't
Yeah,
want to talk about it.
you know, it's especially in this kind of form. You know, we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of our testimony. And if we don't come clean, we can't help nobody.
Right. Right.
And
I
so,
appreciate that.
yeah, nah, I did it. You know, I'm man enough to own it.
Yes.
You know, it's
That's key.
so I won't. I opted not to get remarried.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because apparently I still had a little play left in me, and I
Uh-huh.
didn't want to, you know, run somebody else through that mud. So I
Mm-hmm.
need to clean myself up first before I can seriously think about getting another relationship.
That's smart. That takes a lot of maturity. That takes growth and really understanding yourself. But like you said, you know the vision that you have for your life. And so I think that that's all that works together.
Yeah, no, it's you know, since then I have spent a lot of time developing my life's vision, and so that I can I can filter all my decision making through that.
Right.
So if I want to be taken seriously as a man, taken seriously as a businessman, you know, I can't be out here being messy. I can't
Mm-hmm.
say out one side of my mouth like this is who I am, but then
Mm-hmm.
I show everybody something else. You know,
Right.
that does a great disservice to me first and foremost, because you know I know better, so I should do better. And
Mm-hmm.
then everybody who I come in contact with,
That's
you
good
know,
though,
I,
because people
I got to
don't.
do better.
Then you hit on something good because when we talk about that, that takes character and it deals with integrity, and a lot of times people disconnect those things. So we just see the act of cheating as just a purely physical thing, physiological thing, and we leave everything else over here compartmentalized. And but they all go together because
Yeah,
if you have character issues, integrity issues, then that speaks to the type of business person that you are. It speaks to the type of everything, the
yeah,
man that you are. And people skip out on that because we leave it completely separate. They're not mutually exclusive. They
mm-hmm.
go hand in hand. And people will not have respect for you if they kind of know, like, oh, yeah, he's messy,
Yeah,
or she's messy. And I'm not messing with them
yeah,
because they're tricky.
yeah. Because I mean, if we really want to be real, we looked at people who had such indiscretions and we're looking at them like, yo, nah, I ain't going over there because they messy.
Hmm.
Like I can't be around them because the dirt that they doing is gonna sprinkle off on me.
Right,
And now the birds of the feather analogy comes into play because like,
right,
oh, you hanging with them, oh, you messy like them.
right.
So you know, there was a lot of parallels that have came to my attention about me. Like, yo, you need to clean all that up
Hmm.
if you want to be taken seriously in life.
Right. That's good. Wow. That's really powerful because like I said, I didn't even consider that. Now that you're saying it, it makes so much sense. But I did not even think about that when I was thinking about this topic because like I said, you just think of it like it's emotional cheating, it's physical cheating, but then there's all of these other components, people
Mm-hmm.
that don't want to necessarily attach themselves to you as a person or to your business. And so you're thwarting the growth of everything in your life
Mm-hmm.
by being out of sync in that area.
Yeah. I was
Wow.
watching some old sermons of Miles Monroe, and he was talking about the vision for your life, and like um, not doing certain things because it doesn't coincide with where you're headed. So when you look at character issues, like somebody said, cheating is a character flaw. I mean, it really is. Like, and you really have to address who your character is and kind of shed off who your representative is. Because you
Mm-hmm.
can send your representative out and say, well, I'm this guy and I'm that, this, third, and third. But once people get to know you,
Mm-hmm.
then now they're going to take a permanent position on you. Says, well, you know what? He told me he was this, but he showed me that he was that. I can't do business with him.
Mm-hmm.
I can't
Right.
take him serious. I can't date him.
Right. That's good. Oh wow. I appreciate you for sharing that. Lord, you're just coming on here trying to be the co-host. Like, let me find out.
Not even.
Let me find out.
Not even.
You
I
know,
just
you just
I'm believe it or not, I'm relatively a private person. So I never really talk about these kind of things. I just really more on the high and by with people. But
mm-hmm.
because of this forum, this gives me an opportunity to be transparent and to let everybody know, like, I'm just a regular dude who made regular mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm out here just trying to make sure that I don't be a repeat offender of such
Right.
things.
That's good. And I think people will send up some hearts and let you know that they appreciate your transparency, because that means a world of difference in how we proceed, how we make decisions in the future, and the type of people that we become as we
Yeah,
grow, hopefully. And I appreciate you saying that, because a lot of times we hear about all the cheating, we hear about all the mistakes, and we never hear people say how they healed, how they recovered, how they reset, how they were restored, and how they moved on and become healthy pieces and parts of relationships, of
right.
whole relationships. So I think that's amazing. I really do appreciate that.
Yeah, no, thank you for creating this kind of forum. Hopefully in the future, people will continue to come on and just be transparent. Like,
Hmm.
we all out here in the struggle. We may be deep in the struggle. We may be at the surface of the struggle, but we all out here still trying to figure out life, and there aren't a lot of outlets that's going to keep it real with you.
Hmm.
They want to paint a rosy picture, but they'll never tell you how to get there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So this forum here is really to help people get there,
Yeah.
get over themselves, to get beyond
Yes.
themselves and get there.
That's key too. Now, getting over yourself is a part of it, because we did cite ego as a huge part of why people step out of committed. And we're talking committed. We established early, we're talking
Yeah,
from committed relationships, because, like I said, sometimes I'm, as a woman, I might think I'm in a relationship, but if we have not collectively established that we're together in a committed relationship, I'm not talking about playing, because there's a lot of players and players gonna play, and we got to keep it all the way real. But we're
yeah,
talking about people egos in committed relationships, and
yeah,
knowing how to keep that ego in check, knowing how to deal with yourself, becoming whole before you go out here and jump into something. Say, oh, I want to be in a
yeah,
relationship because it looks cute, you
yeah.
know.
I mean, and a lot of times people cheat just to see if they still got it.
Hello. Yes.
You know what I mean? They want to see if, as man, like, oh, I want to see if I can, still get her attention over there.
Hmm.
Some people just do it for sport.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of boredom that is the foundation for
Oh, you
cheating.
touched on something. You touched on something right
And
there.
so, it really, the cheating is just one aspect of it. Another aspect is like, you really have that kind of time that you can go and develop
Uh
a
oh.
whole clandestine relationship.
Now
And,
that's, you hit another nerve. You talked
and
about
like,
the boredom.
you're supposed to be over writing a book or, exercising or
Going to work.
um, taking additional college courses. You know what I mean? Like there's so many things that you can be doing, but you just want to be over here off to the
that you
side just to
that
see
you
if you still
should
got.
be doing. That you should be doing. And I know our foreparents would say that the idle mind, idle time is the devil's workshop and all that kind of stuff, um, because that's true. And if you going to work, if you're working on things and spending time and brain energy on things, you don't have time for all that.
Right,
That's you're gonna be exhausted. That's why our lives are sort of designed the way that they are. So that at the end of the day, you unwind, you relax, you eat, and then you rest and rejuvenate and replenish for the next day's work. But we have a lot of time, especially in our community, is a little bit out of balance. We have a lot of people who have a lot of time on their hands who aren't building and working on anything. So of course, it's just boredom. It's like, oh, let me, all day I'm sitting here scrolling through. Oh, okay, he's cute. Let me hit him up. So then you got
right,
that, and then it
right.
just boom, it just pops off, and all it takes is one
But
word.
see, you touched on something because when you're scrolling, you're doing that kind of stuff. The cheating starts in the heart and in the mind first
Right.
before you go do the actual act.
Mm-hmm.
So there's people who may not have did the actual act that have cheated
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
have um, skipped out on a marriage without leaving the bed. Sometimes you
Right.
just on over there just texting and
Mm-hmm.
being busy. You
Being
ain't really gonna
busy.
go, but
Right.
I mean, you maintain the whole situation off to the side.
Right. That's true. Extracurricular activity. Thank you, Lady Margaret. That's what that is. Just like you said, being busy, emotionally cheating. Because it
Yeah.
isn't all about physical acts. You
Hmm.
can be gone from the marriage or from the relationship just in your mind. And
Right.
just all, like you said, all out of sorts and engaged with someone else completely because you already checked out. And you say, this is what I'm
Yeah.
going to do.
I mean, the physical act is just the byproduct of what was already in your heart,
Right.
whatever was already on your mind. Like that's a byproduct. So you actually going to do the physical act. That's just one aspect.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
Cheating in
Whew.
your heart, cheating your on the mind. You
Right.
already done checked out.
Right. Reckless selfishness. That's good. Because and it's selfish because you're only thinking of yourself in that moment. You have to be.
Right.
You know.
And what I found out. Well, actually, I didn't find out. What I realized after like my marriage had exploded, um, was that part of the reason why she changed is because I changed.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because I was more or less focused on what she wasn't doing anymore or what I found out she was doing. But then like I didn't throw myself under that same bus I was throwing her under.
Right. That's good.
So, you know what I mean? Like it started with me, like the selfishness was going in both directions. I was being selfish by not being the same person I was to her. And then I made another selfish decision to go and involve a third person.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, you know what I
Wow.
mean? A lot of times, we don't look at the person and say, you know what? Well, I don't tell you you're pretty anymore. I don't buy you flowers like I used to. I don't send you the edible arrangements like I used to. I didn't, I used to pop into your job and take you to lunch. I stopped
Mm-hmm.
doing all of that.
Right.
So then I noticed she changed.
Mm-hmm.
And so we both were just changing and not
Right.
communicating with each other.
That's key. Communication is key throughout the whole time. Like you said, if you're changing, I'm changing, and nobody's coming together and say, like, wait, let's talk this out. Then
Yeah.
everybody's just on their own page and eventually in two different books. Somebody
Yeah.
said sometimes the emotional cheating is worse
Yeah.
because you're actually giving your thoughts and some parts of your heart and yourself to the other person more than just in the physical act. And someone brought it up earlier. They talked about having a bunch of, because they said a percentage of cheating starts at work, in the workplace.
Oh yeah. I was just thinking about work husband and work wife. I was
Yes.
literally just sitting here thinking about that.
Yeah. 36% of them are coworkers because this is where you're spending the bulk of your time.
I mean, you're there
So,
eight some hours out of the day.
hmm
You know what I mean? And see, when I used to work in corporate America, we had the cafeteria
hmm
downstairs. So, shorty that I've been checking out, like, hey, what you doing? Yo, let's go get some breakfast.
hmm
You know what I mean? Let's go grab some lunch.
hmm
And then now you got a whole 20 minutes, half an hour to kind of shoot your shot.
hmm
And then and somebody said,
voila,
where's the church?
the
You know what I mean?
church. I
Oh,
mean,
we ain't gonna start with church. Lord Jesus.
but that goes to the point that we talked about last week with the Pentecostal Pope. He brought up about, when we talk about attending different churches in marriage, but if you're in a committed relationship, that's another place where I can be unaccounted for huge chunks of time. Not only, especially in our church. Now, we're not talking about a little quick mass where we're going in, hitting the cross, kneeling for 45 minutes, but we go to church for four,
Right.
five,
We
six,
in for a
8 hours.
2+ hour service.
2 hours.
So
What church you
afterwards,
at?
we go out to eat, and then there's night service. And see, I'm a church organist. So, you know what I mean? When I was a minister of music at one church, and it was so much drama in the choir. They always had me hanging out after rehearsal, and I'm just
Mm-hmm.
resolving stuff. And it was so convenient for me to slide
Mm-hmm. Of
and
course.
hop in the car, and and I was in the church was in one of those bougie towns, so it was nothing to go and find a nice little quiet restaurant to go
Mm-hmm.
have our church meeting,
Mm-hmm.
counseling session,
Oh Lord.
all that other stuff.
But
So
that's true, but that's true. The church and work hours, chunks of time unaccounted for to your significant other, to your spouse, the other half of that committed relationship. They're thinking, oh, rehearsal ran late tonight. Rehearsal was from
right,
7 to 9, and now it's 10:30, 11. And of course you can say, well, afterwards the guys, and we had a meeting, we had band rehearsal, we had this, and all of these
yeah,
different things, and it just sets a place. So we have to be focused, because clearly we're not going to be tethered to each other 24 hours a day.
yeah,
So it's just how we learn to conduct ourselves and allowing ourselves not to be selfish leading up to and getting into these relationships, going into these relationships whole,
yeah,
so that we don't get in them and get tricky
right,
and have unresolved issues, and I feel insecure, and because especially like for me, I can speak from the woman's perspective. She's this and she's that, so I gotta overcompensate, and
right,
I gotta run out here, and I gotta make sure I got a bunch of women on the side, and I gotta go and get into something else because she's busy or she's focused on this. Well, no, you get focused on something. So that's why it's important that everybody is handling their business. you know
yeah.
well, you said you weren't cheating. You were single in those other instances, I
No,
presume.
yeah, no. I was when I was married, I only had that one situation that I stepped off from. Like we separated, like literally, like right after that. Like literally,
Hmm.
like maybe like a week after that. It was like she moved out, and that was the end of that.
Okay.
But
No.
everything else, I was single.
Okay. So I think, Dante, to your point, I think just kind of the dipping and diving around after things around the church was just, the convenience of, but not necessarily, cheating mind
Yeah.
frame or space,
Now
but just maybe playing.
the young lady I slid off with, like I said, like I was trying to get with her. At this point, it was maybe like 5 years before I even met my wife, and I saw an opportunity and I took it. It was wrong, but I wasn't exactly, I
Hmm.
was searching because I was trying to, do the right thing
Hmm.
before that. But then I saw the opportunity, so I took it. Just being honest.
Okay. Right. Right. Okay. I appreciate that. That's
Yeah.
good. You've given us something to work with here today.
Hey, you know what I mean? Like I said, I just respect this kind of forum where as adults we can talk.
Yeah.
You know, I've been living a quarantine lifestyle for some years, so I really don't
Right.
have these kind of interactions with people.
Right.
So you provide the opportunity to talk about it. I'm just trying to help somebody. There's
That's
somebody
awesome.
that may be at the beginning of, say, the road that I was on,
Mm-hmm.
and if my little story can help them veer off of that and do the
Right.
right thing, then I'm all for it.
That's cool. I appreciate you. That's awesome. Anybody have more questions before we let Mike get back to what he's saying? So we have one question. It says, when does the love that you have for the relationship, the person you're in the relationship with, override the thoughts of wanting the side piece? And I mean, I don't know if you have to necessarily address that, but I guess we can kind of just talk that out.
Okay.
So I guess there's an expectation that if I'm in a relationship with someone, then my feelings, my love for that person should be strong enough to keep me. And we, like we said, we got to talk real talk here.
Yeah.
That strong enough to keep me from going out. But I think your love might be there because I'm, but then is it really love if I'm being selfish, or is it, is it is it a flaw in my love for that person, or does it mean that I lack love for the
Yeah.
other person?
See, I mean,
Because you can,
I guess we got to kind of qualify what love or we're speaking of here, because I've spoken to people who have cheated excessively, and they really genuinely love their spouse.
right.
It's just that it they're not at a point where they love their spouse above all others. They just may
Mm-hmm.
love the fact that their spouse kind of keeps consistency in their life. Like, oh yeah, she always lays my clothes out, and or what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like she's a great cook, or she's wonderful with the kids. You know what I mean? Like it's that kind of qualification to say,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I still love them. Like, yeah, I love all these things, but it's not to forsake all others
All
kind of.
others, right? And that's good. Pastor Clay said you lack discipline and responsibility in that space, and we know
Yeah.
that, Lisa, love is not just feelings. Love, it's not feelings at all.
Well,
So
first of all, let's put this out there. People fall in and out of love every day.
correct.
You know what I mean? It's like the like he said, Pastor said, it's when you have discipline, that makes you do things um that you really want to do the opposite, like
Right.
working out, like or maintain a diet. Like you got to have a discipline.
Really, you gonna come for me on my own live?
Listen, y'all only seeing this part. Like I got a whole storage
I
container
get,
back
I
here.
get.
You know what I mean? I had to dye my hair so I didn't have the gray and
We
the
like the
stubble. You know
gray.
what I
The
mean?
folks really loved the gray the last time, but no, we know, we know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's when you have that discipline, that's gonna lead right into the consistency because you already know I'm taking my behind straight home after work
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want no drama.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't care if me and her argue the whole time. Discipline is gonna bring me home.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, you know
I
what
may
Tony
not be
Braxton
in love
said.
with you today,
Right. Love should have brought you home, but like you said,
but
discipline.
I'm committed to you.
Right.
And a lot of the time, it's the commitment thing. It's the commitment, the discipline,
Mm-hmm.
the integrity. Those get swept under the carpet.
That's
So
so true.
yeah, so I mean, we can. There's a number of reasons why people get on the path to cheating, but then it should be equal amount of reasons or more to get you off of that path
Right.
of cheating.
Right. And listen, discipline is the key. We got 1 minute left. You know what's going to happen, guys? We're going to get cut off. We're going to have to come right back. I need everybody to go grab somebody and bring them
Right.
back with you for the second half because it's only going to heat up. We inside of 1 minute, not 3 minutes. Root Magazine, you're late. You're a terrible timekeeper. But this is good. Show us some hearts. Make sure you guys go refresh your drink, get something cold, get some snacks. Come right back. It is about forsaking all others, and your union between you and your spouse or someone you're seriously dating should be for the sake of becoming one. That's key. That
Yeah.
is so key, and your willingness to uphold the commitment is also key. Let's go out of here and come right back on here. We're gonna finish this talk because this is getting good.
Should I request back
Yeah,
on
come
or
on back on here. Come on back
okay?
on here. All right.
All right.